Here are the 10 questions you need to ask yourself if you suspect ADHD. Hello again, everyone. My name is Dr. Sasha Hamdani, a board-certified psychiatrist, and in our last video, check it out here, I went through the basics of ADHD. We did an overview, explored what ADHD is, its symptoms, and how it impacts your life. Now what? Say you went through that video and you were like, yup, that sounds like me. Then you've hit the video you need to watch. We're going to go through the 10 questions you need to ask yourself if you suspect ADHD. And this is supposed to be engaging and interactive. So as we're going through this, pause and answer the question for yourself. I'll wait. Then I'll go through why that question's important and what your answer means. If this is something that you find helpful, hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell so you don't miss the rest of the series. This will be so fun. Ready? Do you often find it challenging to stay focused on tasks that require sustained attention, even if it's important or interesting to you? Okay, so why am I asking that? Many people have difficulty staying focused on a task. That part's not specific. The key to this is, what if that task is really important or something that is very meaningful or valuable to you? If that's the case, the general public can typically dial down and get the task done. The difference is that for someone experiencing symptoms of ADHD, a bunch of other things are happening at the same time. They find themselves distracted by things happening around them, so external distraction, distracted by their own thoughts, internal distraction, and the lack of the ability to tune it out. So as a result, they're paying equal attention to all the things happening instead of the task at hand. Pretty annoying. Are you frequently forgetful, misplacing items, or failing to complete tasks due to forgetfulness? Let's talk about forgetfulness. Also, not a unique experience. To be honest, a lot of ADHD symptoms are things people may experience. The difference is in the frequency and the severity. ADHD affects the prefrontal cortex of the brain, impacting working memory and attention regulation. As a result, you may have difficulties in retaining and recalling information, heightened distractibility, impaired time management, and a tendency towards impulsivity, which can be hard to keep track of. How forgetful you are also depends on what you're doing, right? How complicated is the activity? More steps, more problems. How rapid is the pace? How interesting is it to you? Do you struggle with organization and time management, finding it difficult to prioritize or complete tasks in a timely manner? Okay, if this seemed like I was getting personal, it's because I was. This is a weird question to ask because if you know, you know. People who don't struggle with time management look at me like I have 3 heads when you ask about difficulty assessing time. People who do struggle with it often feel like this is one of the most significant and unexplained phenomena of their lives. Individuals with ADHD often struggle with time management due to impairments in their executive functioning. This is basically the group of functions responsible for organizing, planning, initiating tasks. People with ADHD may find it challenging to estimate and perceive time accurately, which leads to difficulties in prioritizing and allocating time appropriately, right? Duh. The concept of time may feel so nebulous or distorted, making it hard for individuals to gauge how long tasks will take. Additionally, their heightened distractibility and impulsivity can lead to frequent shifts in focus, disrupting planned schedules. This difficulty in time management can manifest in missed deadlines, procrastination, a general sense of being overwhelmed by time-sensitive tasks. And again, if you know, you certainly know. Do you frequently interrupt others during conversation or find it hard to wait your turn? People with ADHD may interrupt others due to challenges in impulse control and difficulties with sustained attention. ADHD is associated with difficulty inhibiting impulsive behaviors, part of those executive functions we talked about a second ago. This heightened distractibility characteristic of ADHD can cause people to lose track of their own thoughts or become overly eager to share their ideas before others have finished speaking. Additionally, there's this sense of urgency to express our thoughts or responses, which leads to interruptions. While individuals don't intend to be disrespectful, usually, their impulsivity and constant flow of thoughts can result in verbalizing ideas without waiting for an appropriate pause in the conversation. Is there a pattern of impulsive decision-making in your life, such as making hasty choices without considering the consequences? Listen, this is a non-judgmental space. Impulsivity is often talked about a lot in children, but it can persist into adulthood where the stakes are higher. Impulsivity is a common trait in individuals with ADHD, primarily due to neurological differences impacting that prefrontal cortex we talked about, the region responsible for executive functions like impulse control and decision making. In people with ADHD, this whole area may function differently, leading to challenges in regulating impulsive behavior. The inhibition of immediate responses becomes more difficult, resulting in doing before thinking. And impulsivity can impact every facet of your life, including your relationships, your job, and your overall financial stability. Do you find it challenging to sit still, often feeling the need to fidget or move around, especially in situations where you're expected to stay still? Can you tremble and tap your fingers if you're anxious? Sure. Can you wiggle in your seat if you've been trapped in a meeting too long and you have to pee? Yes, definitely. You can fidget for a lot of reasons besides ADHD, but a lot of the time, the difference is that with ADHD, there's this persistent urge to fidget, or it's hard to suppress it. Fidgeting is a common behavior amongst individuals with ADHD, and it's often a self-regulation strategy. People with ADHD may fidget to manage excess energy and restlessness. You may fidget because that increased sensory stimulation may help with your focus and alertness. You may feel like that leg tapping or that hair twirling helps you stay engaged in tasks or conversations, and you may not even know that you're doing it. While it may appear distracting to others, for those with ADHD, fidgeting can be a coping mechanism that aids in concentration and self-soothing. Are you easily distracted by external stimuli, even in relatively quiet environments, making it difficult to concentrate? Okay, so imagine for a second, you're sitting in a quiet room, and I give you a puzzle to solve. Now imagine that the window is slightly open and it's blowing a little breeze. Imagine you hear the faint dripping of the faucet in the bathroom. Someone outside is sizzling up hamburgers and the smell wafts from the backyard. Sounds pretty pleasant, right? What if I were to tell you that those different sensory inputs, what you feel, what you hear, what you smell, are enough to completely derail some people from their task? People with ADHD often experience heightened distractibility because they have issues with attention regulation. Again, not the deficit that everyone thinks ADHD is known for. It's that they're focusing too well, but the things just aren't relevant to their task. That pesky prefrontal cortex responsible for sustaining attention has issues filtering out irrelevant stimuli and maintaining focus on a specific task. So the brain's difficulty in stopping distractions result in an increased susceptibility to external stimuli, making it easier for individuals with ADHD to be pulled away from their intended focus. Additionally, the constant flow of thoughts and ideas characteristic of ADHD may contribute to internal distraction, your own thoughts, further impacting sustained attention. Have you experienced difficulties in school or work due to problems with attention, focus, or completing tasks? Okay, here's a distinguishing factor of ADHD versus just having intermittent focus issues. It causes impairment. Now, there are people that manage to get good grades or skate through schooling, but there was an impairment somewhere. Were you able to get an A on the paper, but the entire process was chaotic and confusing and you were having crippling anxiety throughout? Yeah, problem. Individuals with ADHD often encounter challenges in school or work settings due to the disorder's impact on executive functions, including attention, organization, and impulse control. The difficulties in sustaining attention can lead to problems with staying focused on tasks, following instructions, and completing assignments. Organizational skills may be compromised, which makes it challenging to manage time efficiently, meet deadlines, maintain a structured workflow. Impulsivity can contribute to difficulties in regulating behavior and adhering to social norms. The whole academic and work environment, and we should talk about how we should advocate for ourselves for changes there, often requires sustained attention and adherence to specific routines, and that can be really hard for someone with ADHD. Do you often feel restless or have a sense of inner turmoil that makes it difficult for you to relax or unwind? If you see me chilling on the couch, seemingly not doing anything, you would be shook if you could see what was happening in my brain. Individuals with ADHD often find it challenging to relax due to this constant activity within their brains and difficulty in slowing down their own thoughts. The restless nature associated with ADHD can make it challenging to unwind and embrace a state of calm. I mean, what's that like? The persistent need for stimulation and the constant urge to engage in new activities make it difficult to settle into a relaxed state. Additionally, The struggle with time perception and heightened sensitivity to what's going on around you may contribute to a sense of restlessness, hindering the ability to fully relax and enjoy moments of tranquility. Have these challenges been present since childhood, or do you notice that they persist across various areas of your life? This is important. Many times when I have an adult patient who suspects they have ADHD, they've never been diagnosed and things are really starting to bother them now as an adult. But we have to go back to see if there were issues that were also there as a child. Because why? This is a neurodevelopmental condition, so you most likely had it from birth. So when you're doing a full assessment, you have to go back in time and really look at what life was like then. And the thing that makes it tricky is, one, it's hard to remember details from childhood, but two, it may be that you had completely different structures in place that manage your ADHD better than what's happening now. Still important to note because we need proof that this was happening before age 12. Okay, did you pause and ask yourself those questions? I think this video is important because there is a lot of educational stuff to chew on, but it's also good to ask yourself these questions so you know what you're looking at and looking for. So thank you for joining us on the 10 questions of ADHD. If you found this video informative, maybe even a teeny bit fun, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Remember that awareness and education are powerful tools when you're exploring ADHD, so let's keep learning.